So far in the process, we discovered deploying your hook, coming up with a consumption plan, from that now bonus stacking, and getting a very good idea what those bonuses are and how you're going to present them. And now we got to come up with the narrative. So let's do that. Now, by the way, the narrative is kind of funny because a lot of people think this is where it starts, but we've done all this work ahead of time. We've already come up with our hook, so now we just got to come up with the hook story. We now then deploy our proof throughout the pitch in unique and specific ways, which we'll discuss. Then we reveal the offer, and then we show them the bonuses, and then we attach the scarcity, and then we handle risk. So these are the 6 steps to your pitch narrative. This is how you pitch your product. Now, until you get the hook, you can't pitch your product. Until you have the difference between what's in the product, the offer, and what's in the bonuses, you can't pitch your product. Once you come up with your bonuses, that's a lot of where your scarcity is going to come through. So the rest of this is just simply applying a framework, which is what we're going to break down, this pitch narrative framework. So when it comes to your hook story, this is the 4-step process that you're going to look for. The first thing you're going to do is grab plus lead. So you turn your hook, and when you deploy it into a headline, and then you expand on that headline within the first 150 words, add proof if possible, and supplement with additional benefits. That's what we start with. So this is when we say we got our hook, we're ready to deploy it. This is specifically how you deploy it. Secondly, inception. What leads to the result that you are sharing with them? How did you uncover it? Why is it different? Why is it better than anything else that exists? Third, tension. What are some resistance points on both your end and also that stand in the way of the customer's success? And lastly, payoff. Why is it the greatest thing in the world for them that you will be able to see all the way through so you can offer them your product? So you were able to see all the challenges of inception, all the tensions, you were able to go past it, right? And now here's the payoff. It's with great pleasure that you introduce to them your product name. And I use that when I actually introduce my product. I say it's with great pleasure because I believe it is fantastic for the customer to have the opportunity to buy my products. So once we got the hook, we grab them by the eyeballs or we grab them by the earlobes. We get their attention. Then we explain to them why and how we came up with the solution. We take them through an emotional roller coaster of some of the challenges they'll face, some of the challenges we face, some of the issues that they think are issues that maybe aren't issues. And then that all culminates into a boom, the payoff, which is the introduction of the offer. So let's break down specifically what this looks like. Grab and lead. So remember earlier when we talked about our hook, the easiest path to success is find what people are already going to buy from somewhere they're already comfortable purchasing. Add a little bit of value, and then reach out to them. So then we talk about what are the defining factors, and we break that down specifically. And then we talk about some of the challenges we faced along the ways, and then how that led to the solution that we think is one of a kind that's going to be in the customer's best interest in purchasing it. So for example, we talked about how do we find these people and find things they were already going to buy anyway, and then just show up in front of them. So I show them a technique. And I say to them, listen, would you like to spend less than $200 and get 1,600 people clicking on your communication? I also tell them my unique experience has led me to figure out a solution for you that you can't get anywhere else. And so this is proof of that, right? And then I have some intriguing things where I talk to them about, if you want to be good at poker, don't become a better poker player. Just sit at tables with careless, lazy, rich people that are eager and willing to spend as much money as possible. They don't have to be that good at poker. And so these are all insights into how I came up with a solution. These are some of the challenges that I faced along the way. Is what kind of tables do those look like? How do we reach them? How do we lease them efficiently, and so on and so forth. We also talked about saying, listen, and this is understanding use cases, as we discussed earlier. We say it's hard to learn something, and then it's hard to earn money from what you learn. But in an ideal situation, we want to learn while we earn. So that way we get paid to get an education related to solving our own problems, right? So this was a very big part of that. Was part of the tension. It's like, do you take all this time learning and then eventually hope to earn money? No, let's solve the problem. And it's with great pleasure that I introduce to you Affiliate HD, right? So that's how the whole thing can be built, spec'd out, and deployed. Here's another grab and lead example here as we walk through the process. So this is when we sold an Amazon training. And the hook here to this specific audience was what I called the single greatest new economy first generation wealth vehicle, which sounds like a mouthful. And so a big part of this hook is we said this one model is producing more first generation wealth in this new economy than any other thing that ever exists. Why don't you come here and take a look? Here's what it's done for person A, person B, person C, D, E, F, and G. What is it? Well, come here and we'll take a look, and I'll tell you what it is, right? So that's the hook. And then we explain the process. This is how we figured out and simplified to help most people succeed, this 4 steps. But we say these are the challenges that we face with helping our customers implement these 4 steps. A lot of them don't believe it's true. A lot of them think it's valuable, but not valuable enough to adopt. A lot of people have heard things that are incorrect, and those things cloud their judgment. And I'm concerned and worried about them, because if you can't put them on hold, then I can't help you. Even though, I'm worried that all these other people that I help, that's it. I'm not going to be able to help you. So help me help you. Put these challenges, these issues you have on hold, and listen to the training. And then if it makes sense, it makes sense. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. That's a very logical process. And then I walk them through the training step by step, how to achieve the results. And then I say, listen, this is great. Now you have 2 options. You could do it yourself, or we can do it with you. And if we do it with you, here's all the extra resources you get that you otherwise wouldn't have. Very simple, very straightforward, very powerful pitch. To expand on that, even when I'm talking about the inception of how this was created, I explained to them, like we conquered the world of digital products. So then we went after physical products. So this is what my bank account looked like prior to physical products, and this is what it looks like now. So this is kind of the power of something like this. In less than a year, 1 million net kind of stuff. Very powerful. The inception story for Product E-Class Ultima was this. In 2007, I was living rent-free with my dad in a tiny apartment. It looks like this, so we want to always show as much as possible. And then I said I had a desire to make wealthy, and I was willing to put in the work to make it happen. And I talked about creating my very first product. It was $4. And then I say from there, I went in 2016, it was 15 million in a single year. So this is the journey between inception to completion. And then I wrapped all those lessons up and put them into Product E-Class Ultima, which are now available to you. Another example of tension here, where I create tension throughout the process of telling my story, of the hook, of the value of what we have for them and how we discovered that and how it's unique and powerful just specifically for them. But the tension is this. I say, listen, you might not want to make a go at this because you feel like you don't have enough money, you feel like you don't have enough time, you feel like you're underqualified, and you're scared. Just flat out telling them, this is the challenges you're facing right now. And we either deal with them, pretend they don't exist, or I show you that they're not actually challenges, but blessings in disguise. Well, let me see if I can show you why I think these are not issues for you that should prevent you from moving forward and taking advantage of my offer to help you get from point A to point B. By the way, you should study my language patterns. Everything I just said there was very, I do this naturally, but very carefully crafted language it's very positive focus and empowering to the customer. And here's a second slide. If I had to guess, more opportunity than you can consider, much less take advantage of. So I'm going to help you decide if this opportunity is right for you. You let small things get in your way. You're worried that you're going to make a wrong decision. I go, so let me help you so we can stop that kind of stuff. You're not getting support for others, so I'm going to show you why you don't need support from others. It'd be nice if you got it, but you don't need it. And you're confused and having conflicting information, so we're going to clear that up. So here's the beautiful thing, is during this pitch, I am always adding and helping them get insight and providing value. If you don't know what else to do when you're selling something, figure out a way to provide insight and value and then say, listen, this was insightful and valuable. Now I've gotten you ready. I'm pointing you towards the solution. Now you can either do it yourself or you can do it with me. Either way is fine with me. Now, I think it's in your best interest to do it with me, and here's why I think it's in your best interest, but I'll let you decide. If that's your pitch, that's not half bad. One more tension here. I talk about this solution that we created, and I say, here's the problem, is everybody knows that this is the solution. We're all trying to do this, and so we're fighting for the solution, but the problem is, where is the innovation and how do you do it? How do you take something simple and then tweak it? Well, once you tweak it, then it gets even more complex. And you know you should be doing this, but currently you're not doing this because it takes forever. But wouldn't you like, if it only took seconds, not days, weeks, or months, would you do it then? Of course, if only it took seconds. But here's the problems of why it doesn't take seconds. And here's the solution that I have for you. So now it should take seconds, right? Everything's a solution. The other big payoff here is with Product E-Class Ultima. So the way that I built it up to where I grabbed and led, got the inception story, built the tension, and then paid it off with Product E-Class Ultima. It was perhaps you need the most detailed. So we go through the process of saying, here's some insights to help you be better at creating information products. Now, what are you going to do with them? I say perhaps you need the most detailed, specific, refined, and most optimized step-by-step training and instruction to create the most valuable types of information products. I think I have that for you. You need assets you can leverage to generate immediate income with minimum effort so you can easily justify your investment and your time. I think I've set up a situation where that works. So you need something backing you so that as long as you're making even the faintest sincere effort to work the system, you'll be guaranteed actual money in your pocket no matter what. I'm pretty sure I got that out. And then lastly, you need not just information, you need the system, the approach, the software, the assets, the advantages, the money that I'll put in your pocket for your effort. You also need it to set up so that it compels you to take action simply in how it's laid out. And even if you barely do it right, it will work for you right away. That's a use case, by the way. See that, right? Then it just gets better every time. I know I've got that. And that's why it's with great pleasure that I introduce to you Product E-Class Ultima. So you see how we build up, we grab the attention, that's that hook, and then we open it up via our lead to expand upon that and prove our case. If we get them in the first 150 words in the first few seconds, then we usually lock them in for the remainder. And that allows us to explain how we got something or got some sort of insight or some situation that we've created through inception, right, to help them in ways they can't get help anywhere else for that specific issue that they're having trouble with. The tension and challenges that were encountered along the ways, we break that down and work it and hang in there on that, and then we pay it off about how we came up with the solution and why we're so excited to put it in front of them.